So today we're looking at a very different Oscillio combo. Instead of aura bouncing and working to get an amped combo or working to get a multi-shot gun in a flash turn, we're taking more a redline aggro mixed damage approach, not dissimilar to how we would play the Emperor. And this is a uniquely Blitz flavored build, relying on the disproportionate strength of Storm Striders to close out the game once our opponent drops into kill range. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for tuning in for, dare I say, a silly Billy deck tech. So witty, so witty. That's why you all keep smashing the likes and leaving the comments and all that good stuff. But no, in all seriousness, thank you for tuning in. This is a very unique deck concept. Well, there's a tech too that I want to present, and I kind of want to give the backstory on it first. Don't worry, it'll be quick, and the link's below so you can jam that and then do the thing. But this actually came out of me doing commoner work. So what had happened was I was going through and I was like, all right, how do we play Oscillio in commoner without the tricky tricks, right? Because as we know, you need all the sigils and the bounces and the card draws and the right? So I was like, how do we make him work? And I was going through it and I was like, he actually has quite a bit of like 0-4 access, and many of those have go again because of the whole lightning thing. I was like, well, now that's very interesting in terms of looking at him not entirely as a red line build. Now you will notice that when we get to the tech, this is very much a red line build. There's a few yellows in there, but not very many. But this is very interesting. Now, I do want to point out, I do have and for the channel members, you already have access, right? Up there is a commoner build. This is obviously Blitz, which is far more effective because then you can use Storm Striders. And the reason that this particular build works really well in Blitz, because of Storm Striders, right? I mean, we all understand the disproportionate strength of Wizards and Storm Striders in this format. You'll need to get them down to like 8, and then you...
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran after them.
Okay.
Bang! Try to shoot them in the back. But I don't run so good either. Anyway.
That's what they do. So the general concept here is utilizing, I was going to say stupid cards, but not stupid cards, but fundamentally good cards like Entwined Lightning, Lightning Surge, Flittering Charge, and stuff like that. And what we're doing is we're running just a red line-ish, low profile, kind of in the fashion that we would run Emperor. Now, obviously, we're not, we don't have access to exactly the same classes because we don't have the warrior stuff. But like, if you really think about Emperor, like, aside from the armor, how many warrior cards is Emperor really running? We have extra health. I was like, no, that's an interesting concept. So let's go ahead and flip over to the deck tech itself. All right, so let's go through my current Emperor Oscillio Blitz list. And yes, it's not your normal bouncy bounce thing, right? You can see that very clear here. So what we have on the equipment suite, we have Arcanite Skullcap. I think this makes a lot of sense. We start lower. Emperor generally uses, again, remember, much of this is viewed through the eyes not of playing Oscillio or playing Wizards, but rather playing Emperor. Okay, so I've taken a very similar approach there. Now, keep in mind, Emperor has access to all the Wizard stuff, does not have access to Lightning stuff, but does have access to the Wizard or the Warrior stuff, excuse me. But then if you actually go look at what the Emperor plays, he really only uses, today at least, he uses only Warrior's equipment. Like, that's basically it. I suppose some people out there are playing Jabil, but like, we all know that he's playing Moon, right? That's the better build. So if we really go like remove and then the 3 health, you kind of start to do the math of like what you're gaining for the like warrior equipment, right? 15, 18, it starts to make sense. So anyway, we're on Skullcap. Now, hold focus is what I've decided on as the arm piece. So there is the gauntlets. 1, I don't own a gauntlets. 2, I think the amp here actually makes sense for some edge case stuff because you can use it with card like, I don't know, Overflow the Aether Veil, which if this somehow deals 4, which they shouldn't let ever happen, but if it deals 4, you make back a free moon. crazy good. Crazy good. Okay, now we're on Cloak and Striders. That's no news to anybody. Okay, that makes sense because you can do the one to pay for the thing, right? And then I am on Moon. I'm not on his little amp wand. Okay, we're on Moon because it's just functionally good. Now, what's funny about Moon is we don't really use it, except for the kill shot, right? Which is when it's its best, playing on their opponent's turn. We don't really have much opportunity in this deck because it's not built that way to play on opponent's turn. Again, very much like Emperor, you're just trying to use it as kill shot. So again, trying to view this through like, hey, I'm the Emperor, but with lightning and not warrior. Okay. So we have, in terms of dealing Arcane, we have Arcane Twinning, and we have Overflow the Aether Veil. And then the only other one we have is, of course, good old, you're a bad student. I get your emeritus scolding. The old professor comes in and tells you why the kids these days aren't doing it right, and then throws 6 Arcane across the table, only to be followed up by a wand for 2 on your turn after you're out of cards. All right, so we have Electrostatic Discharge. This one is so, I mean, it's a Nimblism that doesn't block. It also isn't a Nimblism because Nimblism would actually turn on Moon if you actually, right? And that's actually, let's go ahead and skip down to Sizzle. So I do have Red Sizzle in here because Sizzle actually turns on Moon, which is pretty hot. So if you end up with like a yellow in your hand that for whatever reason, like we're playing, let's go talk about the yellows. We're playing Yellow Rabble and we're playing Yellow Sigil of Brilliance. So those are your 4 yellows. Now, I did toy around actually with playing Yellow Sizzle for kind of the reason I'm arguing here. But if you do Sizzle into something and it's a 7, you can actually Moon on your turn out of the yellow. And if you think about it, like Sizzle, for example, would be throwing 2 plus 2. Now, Rabble in most cases in this deck is throwing 3 with Go Again. I think it's actually reasonable to chuck Rabble to pay Moon if you've done the thing. As well with Brilliance. Brilliance is mostly like a weird turn play, like an early turn play, or kind of like I got a bad hand, let's just throw it out there and let's go ham next time. That's why that's in there. But it's also his thing, and it kind of feels like it needs to be in there, right? So with that said, we're on E-Strike it's E-Strike. Entwined Lightning makes sense with all the lightning we've got. We're on Fate. We're on Sync. We're on Flittering Charge. Now, Flittering Charge, you do have to be careful in this deck. The only ones we have that give this Go Again, because we're not doing like the Aurora thing. We don't have instants everywhere. We only have Discharge and Press. Okay, so got to be careful a lot. Not a lot. Every now and then I'll find it as an Ender or maybe an Arsenal, but it generally works out. To be fair, you have Brilliance as well. That can work. That one's a little awkward, but it can work in a pinch. We're playing Fry. That's right. That's a card. That is a card outside of commoner format. Gone in a flash for obvious reasons, but again, it's actually not as obvious because it's very rare that it's a lightning card that blocks for 3 and it's a 0/4. That's why we're playing it, not for the bouncy bounce thing. Okay. Lightning Press because of course we are. Lightning Press because of course we are. And then, like I said, Rabble, yellow and red. I'm playing Scar, playing Second Strike. Sigil of Solace also can discard it. It feels bad, but you can discard it. Then we have Sizzle and Sigil of Brilliance. Going into the inventory, you can see what I've teched against. We have no sideboard cards because we have all the AV we need. Then we have Arcane Polarity, 1 Bastion, 2 FFS red, and then 2 Oasis Respite. Okay, so the concept here hopefully is pretty clear, but what you're really trying to do is just throw like 2, or it's probably not, like if you're throwing 2 or 3 attacks, you're probably not finishing with an Arcane, right? But you have the ability to very much go Emperor-esque here, where you're like something Go Again, like 4 Go Again, 4 Go Again, finish with a 0/3, something like that. Or if you don't, you can also, this has the option with all the Lightning Fuse to like pump Go Again, throw 7, not as ideal necessarily as like going 4/4 Arcane, but you can go pump 7 to Arcane, right? You have lots of options on the table. And again, what you're really trying to build to here is the fact that like you have, again, your Emperor. That's basic. Emperor Oscillio. That's why we're here. Anyway, so like I said, crazy concept. The deck does have to change quite a bit from the commoner format. Again, the video has, I don't think I can link the same one twice, but it was linked at some point. go check it out. It's kind of a fun little concept in Commoner as well. But I'd love to know what y'all think. I had a lot of fun with this one. My idea. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the only one that's ever come up with it, but like I kind of found this by accident and I think it's kind of really cool. So let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me, folks. Go Commando.